Ladies and gentlemen, we are very excited to have you join us here at Demo Day for Batch 6 of 500 Global's Accelerator program in Georgia. I'd kindly ask that you take your seats closer to the front towards the middle, as we will be having a packed theater, and let's make sure everyone gets a seat. You know the final drill. Let's put our mobile phones on silent before we begin. To kick us off, I'd like to play a video about 500 Global and what we do. Please sit back and enjoy. I love this video. It captures the energy at 500 Global so well. Speaking of energy, a very good evening to all our partners, startups, founders, and everyone who has taken the time to join us today. Well, I'm really energized to be up here hosting you this evening, but I want to know, how are the rest of you feeling tonight? I was honestly expecting a little bit more energy, but I can understand, maybe because most of you had very little sleep because everybody was up late celebrating the big win. Well, tonight you're back with me here at the beautiful and historical Rooster Valley Theatre. So welcome back to those of you who have been supporting our journey. And to the new friends in the audience and online tonight, you are in for a treat. First off, I should really introduce myself. Hello, and Gamar Joba to you. I'm Eileen Ko, and representing the 500 Global team, I will be your host for this evening. Our agenda is packed with exciting presentations from our graduating Batch 6 startups, alumni, and a panel comprising of international guests hailing from SeedStars, TechChill, Tech.eu, Coelius Ventures, and Surgeon Capital. Tonight, the celebration in Georgia continues right here in this theater. We celebrate to the victory of the game, of course, but we also celebrate our ecosystem coming together to uplift startups. My team and I at 500 Global in Eurasia are always doing our best to bring you an amazing experience for Demo Day. Innovation is at the core of what we do here at 500 Global, and I want to highlight some creative elements you may have already seen, including the very talented Nutsa, who has been singing at popular events all around Tbilisi, and was the beautiful voice you heard as you came into the theater this evening. I hope you enjoyed her wonderful performance. Startup banners generated by Catalyst that I'll share more again towards the end, and generated AI images specially designed for you by our alumni Oh My Sint to capture today's Demo Day vibes. At this point, I'd like to remind you that the QR code you see on your name badges takes you to our Demo Day event page. For our online viewers, this is the QR code you see on the screen. This page will be your mobile companion from today onwards, as all the information about our individual startups will be there. You will also be able to get in touch with our founders and stay connected with them after today. But still, I will still get you to talk to our startup founders later this evening during the networking session, so make sure you stay with me till the very end because we'll be serving more food and drinks. Now, I'd like to invite the biggest driver and champion of our efforts here in this region to tell you more about what we do. Please help me welcome Pedro Santos Vieira, partner at 500 Global.
Hey, how's everyone doing? Excited? I'm told I need to stand here. So, welcome to those here in person. Thank you for attending the event at this amazing venue, Rooster Valley Theatre, and thank you to the hundreds that are watching online because for one reason or another they can't be here. We have a lot of ground to cover tonight. This is an event where you'll see the typical presentations from the companies, but also interesting content being discussed on stage. And we have a series of international investors, VCs, media, who will share a little bit more about what they know with us. But first things first, how about the victory of Georgia last night against my own country? What was that? I mean, respect, you know, Sakartvelo. I mean, I don't know how well, you know, everyone here or online understands football, but what Georgia did last night is nothing but amazing. Being in the Euro Cup for the first time, qualifying for the round of 16 immediately. By beating Portugal 2-0. That was amazing. And it actually started the trend that you know, I would like to take some credit for. Last December, when we did our previous demo day, it was announced at the same time, roughly, that Georgia had been accepted as a candidate to the European Union. And today, we're organizing this event, and Georgia makes it to the round of 16 in the Euro Cup. So I think there's something going on, and 500 should take some credit for that. Anyways, but back on track. Let's talk about the agenda. I already mentioned we have a series of international investors in media here, coming from some of the world's leading hubs, Silicon Valley, New York, some from Middle East, Baltics. We have Tech EU, we have Tech Chill, also from the media in the event side here. And we appreciate that they're paying attention to what's happening in this region. We need more coverage, and so it's good to continue bringing profiles like these to our events. I would also like to thank our mentors, our resident mentors in particular. Our program runs with a series of mentors, some full-time, some part-time, but the ones who work full-time are a unique part to our program. Not that many accelerators around the world have staff full-time year-round to support the companies post-graduation. And so what you will see here tonight is that several companies after graduating continue their growth, and that growth is largely supported by this staff and these resident mentors. Justina, Brianna, Timur, thank you so much for everything you do for us, for our companies. And finally, obviously, I have to thank the volunteers who are helping us put an amazing show tonight. But to the Eurasia team, the 500 Eurasia team, who does nothing short of miracles to put together a world-class program in this region and to organize world-class events like this one. So thank you, and let's clap for all of these at once. Okay, now to the elephant in the room as we teach our companies. You've heard us refer to 500 Eurasia multiple times, and the reality is that the evolution of 500 Georgia to 500 Eurasia is something that was long overdue. When we started this project many years ago as 500 Georgia, we were given a mandate to help set up Georgia as a tech and entrepreneurial hub for a much broader region, which we've been doing and we will continue doing for the years to come. And this would obviously not be possible without this partnership with JITA and the Bank of Georgia. They've been with us from the beginning. They were the main sponsors of our initiatives initially. They continue going above and beyond what's expected in this partnership, and we are very, very thankful of everything we were able and will be able to continue building together. 500 Global, for those of you who don't have deep knowledge of what we do, I have to share a few statistics with you just to impress you. It's part of like this presentation technique. We impress, and then we inform, and then we entertain. We have a lot of money under management, 2.4 billion under management. But more interestingly, we have a very large portfolio of companies that spread out around the world. Our over close to 3,000 companies span from more than 80 countries. And the interesting part of that is that many of them, tens of them, are unicorn companies in a large percentage, or maybe half of them, of these unicorns are not even American companies, or maybe they're US-based but from immigrant founders. And it's because of this belief that talent is everywhere, but opportunity and capital is not, that we run programs like 500 Eurasia around the world. And we will continue doing so as part of our mission. On top of that, obviously, we will continue adding to our investment stack. And today, we have funds that invest from pre-seed to IPO, and we are a multi-stage company with a global footprint. 500 Eurasia has, to date, 42 companies in the portfolio. We've trained 42 companies spanning from more than 10 countries in many industry verticals. And it is a group of companies that's diversified, not just geographically, as I mentioned, but also vertically. We cover anything from education technology to healthcare to fintech, etc. And the program was designed so that the companies can help us deliver this goal of turning Georgia into a tech and entrepreneurial hub, but also in a way that allows them at the various early stages of their companies to not have to relocate here full time. So it's a program that we run on a hybrid model, 3 months of content. 1 month is in person, 2 months are remote. And we cover anything with these companies from customer discovery to sales and growth to fundraising. And after they graduate, like I said, we have a portfolio value team that continues supporting them throughout their journey until their next round of fundraising. And we've been doing this for a relatively small amount of time, but we've already been recognized in different ways. Most recently, Startup Genome called us out as the new, stronger player in Eurasia, which we're very proud of. But more importantly, our companies are starting to demonstrate results themselves. Some or several of our founders being part of the Forbes 30 Under 30 is the first show that there's a lot of talent here that we can invest in. Many of these companies have demonstrated, and you'll hear later on stage, growth in their, many multiples of growth in their revenue and their number of users. Many of them expanded to many different countries within a few months of graduating from the program, and some of them already have global footprints covering tens of countries. And there's already one company, and we usually, or I usually say that I don't like to choose between my different kids, but there's definitely one that's demonstrated in the last few months more in faster growth than everyone else, and that company is Practica. This is the example of a company who started the program with us last year. They came in with a built product, but still pre-revenue, and in about 12 months after the program, they are now doing close to 15 million AIR, and they raised a round from one of the world's leading VCs from the UK, a round of $35 million. So this is the type of examples that we want to help generate with this program and with our initiatives. So if you're a founder, if you want to be like them, this is the QR code for you to apply. The program is very competitive. Just before we started the event, I was backstage with our founders and I was explaining to them how lucky they are that they are here, because we look at 400, 500 applications for each cohort. We pick about 10 maybe. And so it's very hard to be accepted, which means that the earlier you apply, the better. The applications are open year-round on our website. You can apply at any time, and you can apply and continue giving us updates to your metrics. But the earlier we know you exist, the earlier start a conversation with us, the easier it might be for you to come and work with us. So tonight, without further ado, we'll hear from 8 companies in batch 6. They stem from 5 different countries. They cover 5 or 6 different industry verticals, and 3 other companies, alumni of the program who graduated in the previous batches and are already demonstrating growth, and will also share with you how much they've grown post-program. So without wasting any more time, getting you to enjoy our panel and our speakers and our founders, will step out of the stage while we set it up with chairs for our panel, and then Yilin is going to come up here and present each speaker one by one. Thank you again for being here tonight.
We have a wonderful panel lineup consisting of VC ecosystem friends. Julia Gifford will be our moderator this evening, leading topics on the investment climate from a VC perspective, from where we are today and what's next. Julia runs her own content and PR agency and regularly writes for tech.eu. Joining her on stage, we have Zach Coelius of Coelius Capital, Elena Majuha of Flyer One Ventures, Robin Butler from Sturgeon Capital, and Mel Filipowska from Seed Stars. I'd now like to invite Julia, Zach, Elena, Robin, and Mel onto the stage. Julia, over to you.
All right, hello everyone. Everyone take your seats, get comfortable. What a day to arrive in Georgia. Last night we were sitting in the airplane and we were informed that the flight would be delayed by exactly 1 hour, and 1 hour was exactly the amount of time needed for everyone to be able to finish watching the game. So I think that maybe the plane was delayed for this very reason. So great day, and all that to say, great day to be here, and thank you for having me. And thank you to our panelists, our esteemed panelists. We have fantastic experience right here on this stage. And I hope that we will be able to extract as much value for you here in the audience. And I would like to start with Robin. We have come here to Tbilisi, and Robin is now based here. And so Robin, would you tell us about what drew you to Georgia?
Thanks. I usually think when someone asks, why do you live in Georgia, it usually means they haven't been to Georgia. It's like, just come and spend some time here and you kind of figure it out, like the food, the wine, the people, the mountains and everything. It was like on a personal level why I'm based here, but we invest across Central Asia and the Caucasus as well as South Asia, Pakistan and Bangladesh. And being based in Georgia is kind of being based much closer to the countries that we're investing in, closer to the ecosystems and having a better sense of what's going on, but mainly for personal reasons.
Yeah, you excited about what you see?
Sorry?
Are you excited about what you see?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Short and sweet. And then we have Zach, who is here from the US. And Zach, what is your perspective when looking at Georgia, the Caucasus, emerging markets? Are you excited? Is it a hidden gem? How are you feeling?
Yeah, so first of all, thanks to everyone who's hosting us this time around. It's amazing. This is my third time in Georgia. I'm a huge fan. I mean, all the reasons that everyone here knows, the people, the dynamism of this city is just fabulous to watch. And so I'm very bullish on this country. I'm here hoping to make new friends and enjoy the journey that is part of being this incredible story that is Georgia.
Fantastic. And we're here with 500 Global and talking about VC in Eurasia. And we also have Mal from Seed Stars, who is also in the process of building a global portfolio. And then I'm curious to hear from you how you see the role of emerging markets that play in this development of a global portfolio.
You won't believe me, but I'm getting this question very often, like, Mao, you live in the Middle East, why do we invest in emerging markets? And I would honestly reverse this question. Guys, why not to invest in emerging markets? By 2050, 80% of global population is going to live in places that we now call emerging markets. The future is in emerging markets. Countries such as Indonesia, India, are predicted to be among top 5 biggest economies, also by 2050, by Goldman Sachs, so I kind of trust them. So I really do believe that venture capital investors should start looking in emerging markets more and more, and I'm really glad to see that global investors such as 500, such as Sturgeon, are also exploring regions such as Central Asia, that in my opinion is a hidden gem.
Well, this is fantastic, and it's great to hear that there's a lot of interest, a lot of eyes on this region. So, great time to be pitching on stage today, I might add. And one thing that living right now in this world where we have many geopolitically rocky areas, and here I want to ask Elena about your experience. Particularly, Elena has extensive experience in investing in Ukrainian startups, in Ukrainian founders, and we know that there's war in Ukraine right now. And very often when we speak to investors, their interests are to reduce risk as much as possible. And where can there be more risk than in a war zone? So Elena, how do you manage and diffuse potential hesitancy from investors and convince them of the value of investing?
Yeah, thank you for the question. It's nice to be here today, and just to give you a brief background, so we've invested so far in around 80 startups, and approximately 20 or 21 of them are of Ukrainian origin or having some Ukrainian ties in terms of the origin of the founders or the origin of their team members. And what we have seen in our portfolio so far is that they have been incredibly resilient. It's not just a PR word that we use to describe them, but it's also proven with the data. Because out of all like startups that are founded by Ukrainians, only one had experienced some kind of troubles, and it was just recently acquired by a bigger company. I think that it's the information from the news already is called Allset. But with other companies in our portfolio, what we see, especially of Ukrainian origin, is that they tend to think ahead of time about their strategy and what they are going to do with the, if something bad happens. I think it's some kind of like an Eastern European trait, because we have been, living in the times of political turmoil for quite a long time, unfortunately due to the Soviet Union and other factors. But so I would say to manage the risk, and coming back to your question, first of all, it's thinking about like plan B, plan C, and being hyper adaptive. Like if something bad happens, or if essentially your product doesn't work, we usually encourage our portfolio's founders not to linger on it, and to move on, to do something new, to test new ideas, to iterate quickly. And the second thing that we usually encourage our founders to do is to start globally. Like, don't believe in this thing that if you launch locally, afterwards it would be easier for you to launch in Germany or in the United States or in the UK, because these are two very different markets, like Ukrainian one and UK one or German one. And you will essentially need to launch a new company in the new market eventually, and you will lose a lot of time. So start internationally.
So that's an interesting piece of advice to give. And we were talking to Robin early on about this concept of, do you start locally, then do you expand, or do you go internationally immediately? And the answer wasn't as simple as what we thought it might be. Maybe Robin, you can tell us more about what you would advise a startup in this region.
I was just going to say something, not to come to the defense of the Soviet Union in any capacity, but one thing it has bequeathed to this region is very strong STEM education. So the quality of engineers at a very, very high level as well stands out. And then also a kind of shared language of business language across the region, which does help companies to expand into other countries, even if perhaps speaking that language is not always what people want to be doing, but it does help. And then if you look at someone was telling me the other day, it's like 52% of all unicorns in the US are founded by immigrants. 24% of those are from the former Soviet Union. So not to defend it, but it kind of, I think when you're looking at this region as a place to invest, there is a lot of very, very strong technical talent.
I think that's one thing, that this region is very strong in its talent, and something that we can absolutely capitalize on. So about this starting locally, going globally.
I think it depends on the market. I mean, ultimately, if you're trying to build a venture scale business, you need a large enough market to be operating in. And the reality, if you're in a country like Georgia, or we were talking about Latvia, I don't know, Georgia has 2 very large companies that have been phenomenally successful, and there's not really much space for many others. Your just population size is pretty limited, and similar in Latvia or Azerbaijan, Armenia in this region. But there are other countries where you look at a country like Uzbekistan, 40 million people. There are still opportunities there where you have multi-billion-dollar kind of market opportunities that are growing 10, 20, 30% year over year with very low technology adoption and technology penetration, that you can build a significant business. So I think it's understanding kind of where in the sort of technology adoption cycle is the country you're operating in, and what is the actual, like the kind of finite size of the market itself. If it's early in that technology adoption, i.e. there's still a long runway of growth when it comes to greater technology adoption, and the market itself is of an absolute big enough size, then you can build something locally. But if that's not the case, say you're in Georgia, you really have to be thinking regionally at an absolute minimum, but probably globally from day one.
Well, thank you for that insight. And Zach on our panel is unique in a way that here you are our solo GP. And that seems like a unique decision to make in life. And could you tell us more about how you feel that has impacted your career, your opportunities, and if you would recommend it to others? And if so, is there anything you would do differently if you could do it all again?
Yes, I think one of the fascinating things about venture, if you look at sort of the classic venture capital ecosystem, is it's largely structured in a series of partnerships. So you have a bunch of partners, they all sit around the table and they make hard decisions. But all the money in the business gets made by weird, crazy, out of left field ideas that everyone thinks is dumb at the time. So if you go back and you look at all the companies in venture, the vast majority of the money gets made by things that are not consensus, they're contrarian, they're strange. They're just weird things that get really, really big. And so it's kind of weird that venture as a business uses a committee to make decisions to decide on weird, hard things, which doesn't seem like the best idea in the world. And so I've been lucky that I started doing this about 10 years ago, deployed about $100 million over those 10 years, and have gotten to see kind of on the ground what that means. And I believe that the future of venture is going to be individual investors, like the investors who are in this room, choosing to make hard decisions rather than a continuation of the committee decision-making model, which has been the history of venture. We'll see, but for now, it's working well for me, so I like it.
Would you recommend it for others?
Obviously, yes.
Is there anything you would do differently?
Come to Georgia earlier. I wish I had gotten here 10 years ago.
Yeah, there you go. Yes, a round of applause. So, Mal, you often like to talk about how an investor can add value rather than just adding money. And could you tell us more about how you think an investor can add value to a startup, and more importantly, how a startup can recognize that kind of investor?
Yeah, it really did. It was my favorite topic until I saw all of the memes on LinkedIn. I'm sure everybody knows what meme I'm talking about investor adding value to a portfolio company. I really do believe that this is why venture capital exists. And even today, having 3 portfolio companies from previous batches of 500 startups, it shows you that there is a need for investor that continually supports startups. It's not enough to do a program for 3 months. It's not enough to run some kind of initiative with portfolio companies and then forget about them, and then portfolio keeps growing and growing. I really do believe that having investors, such as, for example, 500 Techstars and all of the large international investors of the world, it really adds a lot of value to local ecosystem, mostly through enabling the global network. So just an exercise from my portfolio that I did recently. I have a portfolio of 140 companies at the moment across 38 different countries.
Wow.
Unfortunately, I don't have anyone in Georgia yet. But I asked them, like, who do you want to talk to? Like, what kind of funders would you like to get connected to? And I gave them 3 options. I want to talk with funders who are building in my region, or I want to talk to funders who are building in my industry globally, or I want to talk to other funders, regardless what they build and where. The most common answer was the third one, which shows you how important it is to really get other perspective, other points of view. And there is a very limited number of investors that can actually enable that. Like 500, I'm sure you guys can connect a portfolio company from Georgia to a portfolio company from Brazil building a very similar thing. That's why every single ecosystem, in my opinion, especially emerging market ecosystem, needs those kind of investors in order to bridge that talent gap between the region. Because talent, as we heard at the beginning, is everywhere.
Thank you. And I should have mentioned earlier, but if anyone else on the panel has anything to add to these questions, then feel free to chime in. I know that adding value as an investor is relevant to all of you. But on that topic, Robin, you are based here, you are here locally, you are possibly the most accessible to our esteemed viewers right now. And would it be fair to say that if there was a startup that was looking for investment, you would be a good place to go to for a chat?
Yeah, although I chose to live up at the top of Tatsminda, so it's a bit more difficult to get to me. But.
And if a startup decided to approach you, what would it take for you to raise your eyebrows at the idea and say, yeah, I'm interested, I want to get in on this? How do they catch your attention and interest?
I think to pick up on something Pedro said about starting the conversation early, like if you come to me and you're like, I'm raising a round and it's going to be closed in a month and we've never spoken before, it's like, well, what do you do? Sorry, who are you? Where do you come from? Like, all the kind of things that I want to spend time to understand and get to know. So the best thing is, and without trying to sort of force it, is to have a conversation. Like, we invest from sort of seed onwards. We don't typically do pre-seed, pre-revenue, pre-product things. So if you're at that stage, just frame it as a conversation, saying it'd be great to just have a coffee if you have time, half an hour, chat about what we're doing, what do you think about it. I might offer some vaguely helpful advice. It might be rubbish, probably don't listen to me, but like build that relationship. And I always make notes of all of our meetings, and then say 6 months later you come back and you say, well, remember last time I was doing it, I said I was going to do this, and then this is what I've done. Like, I've now got to here, I've got a product, I've got my customers now. I go, okay, like, you said you were going to go and do something, you've done it, like, that's a good sign. And then maybe it's still too early, this kind of thing, but if we build a relationship over 6, 12 months or longer, and most of the time we do pass on companies when we look at them the first time, because typically they'd be too early stage, or it can be random reasons as well. We build a relationship, we know what you're doing, you demonstrate that kind of continuity and commitment and ability to get things done. And obviously I'm going to expect that whatever you told me the first time around is not how things are actually going to turn out, because you're a startup and nothing ever does. But if you're still there and you're still improving and getting better, then that's probably the best way to really get us interested. Assuming, like, I'm assuming what you're doing is interesting. Like, if it's a total waste of time, might tell you, might not, but we'll sort of might give you some.
You're British, that's so polite.
It might give you some indications with sort of backhanded kind of comments that, yeah, maybe it's not the best idea. But on the assumption that you are doing something interesting that has potential, is to think about building a long-term relationship. Because also, if we do invest, it's like the next 10 years. Like, you don't want to rush into getting money from us where you're like, oh, we've got to close this in 2 weeks. It's like, well, but hang on, this isn't like it's then going to be all over in another 6 weeks after that. We've got 10 years to go. So kind of taking time to get to know, demonstrating that you have staying power and an ability to actually get things done will go a very long way in getting us interested beyond just thinking, that sounds like a cool idea, because lots of people have cool ideas. Not many people can actually go and implement them and execute them.
I see everyone else on the panel nodding their heads, so that seems like that's very good advice. Develop those relationships early on and keep following up. And
get someone to make a warm introduction.
Warm introduction, yeah. Any other tips?
And send updates. Like, please send updates.
Honestly,
please.
probably the #1 indicator of startup success across my portfolio, including people I didn't invest in, is the quality of the updates. Like there's no other, how smart they are, how much money they raised, the VCs they raised from, like any other factor, the quality of the updates has been the #1 indicator for me of a great founder. And so when I get updates like from people I haven't invested in yet, and they're really high quality updates, I get really excited really quickly. I mean, I don't know what it is, but there's something about the type of founder who thinks hard and writes great updates, and people who succeed, it's like.
And it sounds like a very easy way to put yourself ahead of the rest.
It's actually not easy to do it well, obviously, or everyone would do it, but yeah.
I might add that the recommendation about developing relationships early on and staying in touch is also great advice for media relations. And moving on to another topic that any panel these days wouldn't be a true panel without is the topic of AI. And AI has infiltrated every aspect of our lives, and I'm sure that the investment space isn't any different. So I want to ask our panelists about how AI has changed your investment practice or the investments that, or the startups that you choose to invest in. So maybe Mal, we can start with you.
Yeah, I can start because the GP of my fund is actually really nerdy. So he developed our own pipeline management tool, and now we are working on our own AI tool that will basically take transcripts from our calls with startups and transfer it into investment memos, so something that we present on investment committees. And I heard about a lot of VCs working on that currently. So just like streamlining the process. So from the interview perspective, I guess it's important to just mention the keywords so that the AI can pick it up and put it like on top of the memo. But jokes aside, I think it really transformed the way we work, and it just makes our life easier. So there's going to be only more and more on that.
How about our other panelists? Are you jumping on the AI bandwagon?
So jumping wouldn't probably the right word, because we were very cautious about like trying to do everything about AI in our VC fund as soon as it emerged. But at the same time, we are currently using it for quite a lot of operational stuff that we usually spend a lot of time on. So Mal already mentioned the investment memo writing. So we usually try to do it by hand, but we certainly do use AI to construct some parts or to, to reread it basically and not waste time for the grammar questions or to different, to choose the right wording. Also, we do have a lot of integrations. Like it's not like a product, because essentially what we did is that we combined a couple of tools using Zapier or similar tools and just some integrations between them to make it faster for us to transfer transcripts into more actionable data, or to do the research about the market, competition, market sizing and everything. Or just basically to read the data. Like we use some AI features to make the, turn the data, the raw data that we receive from the startup sometimes into the charts and everything. So I wouldn't say that we are, very AI powered, because we do not have a very large team internally and we do not have a separate tech team, but separately our employees, they do use AI for different stuff, and we do employ AI in decision making basically. Also regarding PR, I think I would probably share, because it's only like my small initiative, but I'm using AI for writing some content. It's not like totally AI generated, but it was taught on my previous content, and it was taught on my some insights, some analysis researches that I'm doing. But what AI helps me to do is to construct the right posts for the, let's say, LinkedIn, for example, in the right format that I want. But at the same time, I just share my, very unstructured thoughts with it, and it just makes a post out of it. So yeah, it's been very convenient.
Very convenient. Anyone else on the panel want to comment on the AI craze?
As an investor, I'm looking for weird new things, which is kind of the opposite of what an LLM does, which is a probabilistic model based off of human existing language. And so I have not found a use for it in my day-to-day work, but there's a lot of labor saving that makes a lot of sense. So, but yeah, I want to find something new. I want to find something just like you look at that and you're like, what the is that? Like I'm looking for strange stuff, and AI doesn't seem to match well.
Yeah, I think I sit in the same bucket, whereas like there are certain tasks which have been very clearly defined of how you kind of get from A to B, and in that case you don't need that kind of human in the loop to actually complete it. But when you're trying to assess a company, like the more you automate, i.e. the less you do, the less understanding you really have of what is going on. Like it may, I don't know, it depends, like you probably look at more companies than we do, but taking my notes from a meeting and a transcription to put them into my own words in a memo really helps me understand what's going on. Whereas if I automate that, yeah, the information is in there, but the understanding is not there for me. So I try, I don't know, trying to find areas where it really is just like a mundane process that it can automate, but other areas where it actually requires thinking. And we've seen like with a couple of analysts who've used it, and then you ask them questions and like the depth of understanding isn't there. And if you want to build over time and expertise in something, you've got to keep doing it again and again. So I think there's a risk there of, as Zach said, like differentiating and finding something new is unlikely if you're using something which conforms to the mean.
Perfect, thank you. And we're nearing the end of our panel, so the final question is going to be around ecosystem building. And one thing that's happening here at 500 Global is Georgia and Eurasia is being put on the startup map and strengthen that position. And I'm wondering if our panelists have any recommendations about how we all can give a hand into strengthening that position. And maybe this is a question initially for Elena with your PR background.
Yeah, thank you for the question. So I would say, like, of course, Georgia is doing quite a lot of work towards, you know, promoting its local ecosystem. I just mentioned to somebody in the hall that it's my third time in Georgia only this year, and because a lot of startup-related stuff is happening here, which is very, you know, very unusual, and I'm super happy for Georgia about it. But at the same time, my recommendation to the founders of startups would be, do not wait for the government to do everything for you, because you can actually change a lot of things yourself. Like you can do the promotion yourself, because every separate success of a different separate startup is kind of associated with the company, with the country they come from. Like every time when a Ukrainian startup does any kind of like an exit or they raise a huge round, a lot of media write about it, and they usually mention that it's from Ukraine, that they have a Ukrainian R&D office, they have a Ukrainian founder, and the same logic can be essentially applied to different other markets. So your success essentially means the promotion for your country too. So I wouldn't say that it's worth waiting for, you know, your government to do something about it.
Any other thoughts on the panel? I can certainly echo the sentiment. I'm personally based in Latvia, and I believe that every person who's doing something is a person who is bringing the flag into the world, and then every person is a layer of developing that reputation about that brand, about that visibility for that ecosystem. And regardless of whether the country is able to figure out how to brand the country or not, then we can still do it ourselves.
So I first moved to Silicon Valley in 2005. I had been in Ireland for grad school and didn't know what to do with my life, and didn't want to be a banker, and didn't want to go to consulting, and didn't want to be a lawyer. So I drove my car across the country and showed up in Silicon Valley. And in 2005, we were just coming out of sort of the ice age after the dot-com crash in 2000. Quiet, not a lot of startups. It was a very, 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 very quiet ecosystem. And the thing that stuck with me, and the lesson that I hope that every ecosystem copies from Silicon Valley, is the power of helping each other out. Because what I've seen over and over and over again is the founder that you're hanging out with playing poker tomorrow, you don't know him, just a random guy. Next thing you know, he's the founder of Dropbox. And it's like, and he's just becomes this phenomenally important person in your life. Or this other founder that you're at a bar with and you're arguing about something, turns out to be the founder of Uber, and you're like, whoa. And so the thing is that when you think about today, it's easy to look around and be judgmental and dismissive of the other people in the ecosystem, but tomorrow and next year and 10 years from now, this ecosystem will follow every other ecosystem's path, and there will be tremendous growth and tremendous success. And the people that are helping and building relationships today will end up in a much better place when that happens. And so I would say just give, help, and you will find that it comes back to you in spades as this ecosystem grows, which I'm absolutely positive it will.
That's actually something I will say Georgia is a lot better at. Like, the Georgian ecosystem is a lot better at than a lot of the other countries that we invest in. You guys do support each other a lot more, and the number of times I hear kind of founders talking up another company, if I mention, oh, I met this person, that, oh yeah, really interesting, I like how they're doing this. Like, you're there to support each other, and the chances you're actually really competing with each other in any space are pretty tiny. You're probably building for the region, if not the world, and so that concern that someone might take your idea, as I said earlier, like, an idea is easy to have. It's actually executing on it, which you're doing, is the difficult bit. And most people don't want to take that difficult bit off you. So yeah, just keep helping each other out.
Yeah, it's actually true for the Ukrainian ecosystem too, because if you know some critical mass of people coming from Ukrainian tech ecosystem, you get so many introductions. They just introduce you their friends, their colleagues, their ex-colleagues, ex-co-founders, some investors whom they met just recently on some events. And it's like, we're usually joking that there is this, like, you know, Ukrainian mafia or Ukrainian gang, because every time when you come to some event, there is approximately like 12, 15, 20 people there from Ukraine, and they usually tend to, you know, introduce you to other Ukrainian people who are there already. So yeah, that's fun, and it helps a lot to the ecosystem to build this network, which is very interconnected and helping each other out.
What a beautiful sentiment to end on, and I want to say a massive thank you to our panelists and a big round of applause for them. Thank you, everyone, for being with us today.
Thank you to our panelists for an insightful exchange. June has always been a month filled with lots of events, but I just wanted to call out that it's always amazing to have 3 women on a panel instead of majority male-dominated, especially in this region. So I think it's a great effort for us all here, and thank you so much for our panelists. It's always encouraging to see different ecosystem players from all over come to exchange ideas and keep on innovating in ways on how we can uplift startups together. But for now, we will be moving into the presentation component of the evening. Tonight, you will hear from 8 of our Batch 6 companies and 3 of our alumnus who have come back to share their achievements. We are really proud to present these 11 companies from the Eurasia region to you today. For our 8 companies that are graduating, they started their journey with us 12 weeks ago right here in Tbilisi. I speak on behalf of all of us at 500 when I say that we are all very proud of your acceleration journey with us, and we can't wait for you, everyone in the audience, to hear what they have to share. So, starting us off with the first presentation of this evening is Andrzej. At 18, instead of having his first drink, Andrzej filed for a patent that he still holds today. Before founding his first company, Dresh actually founded 3 rock bands. So please help me welcome to the stage our rock star of a founder, Catalyst's Andrzej.
We've only launched 3 months ago, and we're already doing over $100,000 in annual recurring revenue. we're powering video production for brands like Red Bull, Sky, and Heineken. And here's why. Just last year, video consumption has grown over 50%, making AI video one of the most powerful tools for brands. So you're probably thinking brands must be using all the hot new AI tools like Sora and Midjourney, right? Wrong. These tools lack control, making brands generate hundreds of videos to get a single clip that they can use. The video is off brand, taking major rework to be used. Because of this, brands still resort to traditional video production techniques that take months and hundreds of thousands of dollars to complete. Until now, we're introducing Catalyst. We instantly turn scripts into on-brand videos, saving you over 50% of your production time. We give you complete control over characters and props while we keep everything perfectly on brand. Our customers love us. We've already made over $100,000, putting us on track to reach $1 million in annual recurring revenue by the end of this year. This is just a part of the larger $300 billion video production market that we're monetizing with a simple monthly user subscription. My team and I have built content automation platforms for the world's largest brands, like P&G, Spotify, and Nike, giving us deep insights into the needs of the market that we're building for. We're Catalyst. We're building the future of professional video production.
And now we'll hear from Tim. He is quite an adventurous junkie, having done 10 Ironman challenges and even took part in bull running in Spain. He had to run from the bull, literally, for his life. Yet, bulls seem to be a common theme for Tim, for he was previously a data analyst who achieved a 40% return on a 30 million crypto altcoin portfolio. Looking to continue this bullish success, let's now bring Tim on stage.
This year, Cluster was voted as the best product of the year on Product Hunt. And I'm going to tell you why. In 2023, over $20 billion were lost due to bad crypto investments. You see, there are millions of tokens out there, but it's extremely hard to differentiate between a legitimate project and a scam. Now, here's the challenge. Investors just don't have the time to constantly analyze hundreds of projects. They have to look at things like white papers, roadmaps, tokenomics, supply distribution, network activity. The list goes on and on. So they end up making uninformed decisions and essentially gambling instead of investing. That's why we created Cluster, a platform that helps you build your digital wealth without spending hours on research. It's like a Bloomberg Copilot for your crypto. Here's how it works. With a single click, users connect their wallets and Cluster rates their portfolio. The app then provides a score and gives actionable insights on how to de-risk your investments. Our models combine on-chain data with fundamental research and analyze over 80 metrics across thousands of projects. In short, we help investors make better investment decisions. And people love our platform. In just 3 months, we quickly grew to over 9,000 users and $15,000 in monthly recurring revenue. We're now expanding our product to the wider Web3 community and already have over 20,000 people on the waitlist. We use a freemium model and take a small percentage fee off of every transaction. We also offer a premium subscription to our power users. It's an exciting space to be in. Web3 adoption is growing daily, and it's projected to reach 300 million people by 2028. Our transaction fees alone represent a market opportunity of $4.8 billion annually. And we're the right team to capture it. We have experience in credit risk, institutional custody,
and asset management at some of the biggest companies in this space. Cluster is helping the next generation of investors build digital wealth through Web3. If you like what we're doing, my name is Tim. Let's chat.
Laura went to Shanghai for her university education, and while there, had a cameo in a film appearing next to Lord of the Rings star Orlando Bloom. She's a star of her own too, blazing her own trail, being featured in Forbes, and just 2 weeks ago, winning first place amongst 100 startups at the CEVF Forum in Almaty. A star in the making that is always striving for new heights. Let's welcome Laura to tell us what she's built.
Hi, I'm Laura, founder of Yaya. This year alone, we've generated over $1 million in revenue, and I'm excited to share how we got here. As a mom of a toddler, finding the right activity for her mental and physical development was stressful, often waste of time and money with multiple memberships. The lack of centralized information made this even harder. On the other hand, kids' centers struggle to fill them with the kids due to poor marketing and limited resources, making it difficult to reach parents like me. That's why we've created Yaya, an annual membership where parents can book a variety of activities, from swimming to art, piano, and English classes, and much more, while saving up to 70%. With a network of 500 kids centers across Kazakhstan, Yaya boasts the largest collection of classes and activities for children. And in just few months, 1,000 parents booked 18,000 activities and 500 centers. And in June alone, we made over $300,000 in revenue. Not only that, kids centers increased their profit by 30%. But we're not stopping here. We're starting to expand worldwide, reaching 50 million parents and thousands of kids centers. And we have a strong team to do it. My teammates and I are experts that previously digitized traditional businesses, built membership programs, and scaled startups to international markets. Join us in shaping the future of our children with Yaya.
Don't you just love our founder's choice of walk-up songs? It's all part of the demo day experience. If not already obvious, we have some really talented founders amongst us tonight. Our next founder DJs during his spare time to minimal techno music, but it was his hobby of graffiti painting that led him to the startup world. Please put your hands together for the founder of VideoPoint.
Hi everyone. How many of you prefer a video over a static web page while shopping online? Me too. Not surprisingly, 73% of consumers would rather watch a short video to learn about a product while buying directly from brands. And direct-to-consumer brands create hundreds of video reels that soon become idle on Instagram without any contribution to their sales. Meanwhile, 80% of D2C store owners name conversion rate as one of their top 3 business challenges. And it's a fact. Videos not only engage, they also convert well. That's why we made their Instagram videos shoppable. I'm Kostas, CEO and founder of VideoPoint, And we are helping D2C brands boost their conversion rate for a range of apps, starting with shoppable videos. Using our app, merchants can tag videos with products to make them shoppable, embed these shoppable videos into store pages, then convert video views into sales. Video Point boosts key metrics without the need for new content creation or additional ad spend. We improve engagement by 40%, conversion rate by 20%, and average order value by 10%. We launched 1 month ago and are already working with 11 brands from the fashion and beauty categories. We charge usage-based monthly subscription and performance-based success fee. We are a global solution, now focusing on UK and US markets, where in the US alone, there are over 120,000 D2C stores. This market is expected to grow by 20% annually, 6 years straight. And we're building a range of apps to boost conversions across any platform. Our team has over 25 years of collective experience in building and scaling e-commerce applications. Join us in the future of e-commerce while we turn videos into sales.
Roman has had quite a journey in his career so far. He led projects that launched products across sectors from aerospace, marketplaces, robotics, and more, all while working on his PhD in computer science. Yet these are only a fraction of what Roman can do, because now he's fully focused on helping others embark on projects they are truly passionate about. Listen up, because what Roman is doing at Raised may be what you need in your next career move. Roman, please.
This year, most of our clients achieved extraordinary results after working with us, such as reaching $1.5 million in revenue in just 6 months, or doubling their sales conversions in just a quarter. What was the secret to their success? They were able to hire world-class leaders who have previously solved the same challenges at high-growth companies. But how can early-stage companies afford this level of premium talent? Because these professionals worked for a fraction of their time and salary. In fact, there is a cultural shift towards work independence and flexibility. And now there are over 100,000 experienced professionals who want to do fractional work, and millions of companies can benefit from that. However, companies and professionals struggle to connect because traditional freelance platforms are not designed for high-stakes strategic projects. And we know that because we worked as fractional professionals ourselves. And that's why we created Raised, a marketplace specifically tailored to fractional leadership. We have customized matching algorithms, a vetting system for both experts and clients, and a recommendation system that helps structure and kick off projects. In less than 24 hours, our clients are matched with 3 perfectly suited top 1% experts they would never be able to hire full-time. This efficiency has led to 30% monthly growth, and we reached $50,000 in revenue last month. In the era of AI boom and ever-growing productivity, the future of work is fractional. Join us, and let's make this transformation together.
Next up, we have David, who has been an entrepreneur since he was 14 years old. About 15 years ago, he decided to enter the IT field, starting as a developer. To get into a major company, he accepted a role in the marketing team. This experience changed his career path forever and led to the creation of his startup. David, please.
Hi everyone, I am David, CEO and co-founder of Optimize. I have over 12 years of experience as a performance marketer, and I have optimized over 5,000 ad campaigns. Together with a network of experts I built, we have managed over $10 million on annual ad spend. During this period, I realized that companies of all sizes struggled with Google Ads, spending millions of dollars on ads that just don't perform. Last year alone, companies wasted over $7 billion on ineffective advertising. That's why my co-founder Anastas and I created Optimize. Optimize enables businesses to optimize their Google Ads without any experience and without paying top dollar to experts. Our clients simply provide their URL, and our software analyzes their website, ads, and competitors, and then optimizes their ads to maximize their revenue. All of this is possible thanks to our algorithms, trained on over $10 million in ad spend across 10,000 campaigns. Our clients' results speak for themselves. Optimize helped Knox Labs to get 10x increase in revenue and Axiom Print to increase their monthly revenue from $16,000 to $100,000 using the same ad budget. And there are other companies like this getting excellent results. Since we launched, over 200 companies have optimized their Google Ads using Optimize. The global ad tech market was valued at $1 trillion in 2023. And in this market, we are focusing on 50 million e-commerce and SMBs who need us the most. If you want to know more how we are going to reach millions of clients and shape the next era of ads efficiency, please come talk to me.
Kachatur tells me that he loves the history of computers and is extremely passionate about computer graphics and computer graphical user interfaces. What do passionate people do? They start startups, and they also teach. Kachatur is a lecturer on the topic of computer science. I've said computer 4 times since introducing him, so you know this man loves computers. Everyone, let's welcome Kachatur to the stage, or you can also call him K.
Southwest Airlines lost $800 million 2 years ago because it is extremely hard to manage software at scale. A code base starts with the core technology, and over time, we add more features. We add to the code, update. Eventually, it turns into total chaos. This is a common problem. It's still a manual process to review and manage a code base to make sure nothing breaks. Now, imagine this at scale. With hundreds of engineers trying to make code changes all at once, there is a lot of room for mistakes. The industry now spends $1.6 trillion on managing existing code bases. Hi, I'm Kachatur. With our team of engineers, we spent 4 years maintaining a software with 15 million monthly active users. We know how hard it is. We did the same at YC companies, VMware, Talkdesk, and others. Now, we build a tool we wish we had. Trag is an AI platform for engineering teams to automatically test, find, and fix issues way before a failure can occur. Trag's AI operates 24/7 on the code base, enforces best coding standards, monitors and prevents issues automatically. Now, engineers can focus on what they do best, developing new features and moving the business forward, while Trag handles code reviews, bug fixes, error monitoring, the things that engineers don't want to work on anyway. Our business model is very simple. We charge flat monthly subscription fee per engineer. We launched in April, and we already have hundreds of engineering teams on our platform. We're piloting with large companies like Docker, Ripple, and more. In just a few weeks, Trag scanned 10 million lines of code and found and fixed 27,000 issues, which equals $2 million of engineering time. Writing code is easy, but managing and updating it is hard, until now. If you want to know how we are supercharging engineering teams, let's talk.
Rounding up our batch 6 presentations, our next founder was the top tennis player in Georgia, number 2 in Europe, and I'm sure she's also beaten some Portuguese players along the way. Already one who knows how to go out there and win, Iyako also lights up any room she walks into. So proud to introduce you all to Iyako from Helio.
Months, we already onboarded more than 70 international brands, like Zara and Gulfoil. They all wanted to solve one problem, their hiring process. Recruiters spent most of their time performing manual tasks, reading thousands of resumes, and trying to assess candidates' personality and soft skills. It takes 90 days and $4,000 to hire each employee. But we fixed it, decreasing hiring time down to just 14 days, saving companies $250,000 each year. Helio is the world's first AI-powered platform with a local language hiring and personality tests. We help recruiters to post jobs across different channels and collect resumes all in one place. What makes us different from others is our game-based psychometric test that rates candidate personality traits and combines with our unique AI model to suggest the top candidates. Our system has already screened more than 25,000 applications, and customers love us. Recruiters say that 90% of suggested candidates are a great match. That's why we are already generating $10,000 and growing 30% month over month. Currently, we are focused on companies that rely on customer-facing employees. This represents a $5 billion recruiting market, and we are monetizing it with a per-recruiter subscription. We have deep expertise in fields that matter, HR and AI. And our CTO was part of world-leading AI research institutes. We've been working together for more than 7 years and already had successful exit as a team. If you want to know why over 70 international brands are obsessed with Helio, come, talk to us after this.
Gentlemen, those were our 8 startups from batch 6 of the 500 Global Accelerator program in Georgia. Did you enjoy the presentations? Can I get a bigger, louder of applause for my 8 startups? Thank you. Okay, thank you for the applause because I have 3 more for you. My team and I have the privilege to work with our founders every day, within and beyond the program to continue fueling their success. We have accelerated over 60 startups across 6 batches of running the program, and we will continue to uplift this region with batch 7 and beyond. For tonight, I am eager to bring to the stage once more Oh My Sint, Kings, and Arena Games. Each of these alumni came to us with an early stage product, business challenges, and a hunger for rapid growth. They have since worked to build up their business with a global footprint alongside 500's continuous support for them as portfolio companies. So, bringing out the first of the alumni is Valerie. Last time I had the privilege to introduce Valerie on this stage, I said, Valerie loves to share what he's doing with anyone, everywhere, anytime. It doesn't matter if you're a stranger or at parties. He does it to taxi drivers and even in his sleep. This is still true. So let's not keep Valerie from presenting to you all any longer. Let's get you up here, Valerie.
Hi, I'm Valerie, co-founder of Oh My Sint. I was standing here at this same spot 6 months ago as part of the 500 Global in Eurasia. And since then, we doubled our user base and increased our ARR from $70,000 to $200,000 and signed new customers like PepsiCo and AliExpress. We were able to do this because we found an opportunity to create hyper-realistic content for brands. You see, the problem is that the latest AI models are great generalists. However, brands need specific content, like content for the Brand 500 and Demo Day as an example. Oh My Sint allows marketers to train custom AI models based on their corporate style, with their ambassadors, specific brand colors, assets and products, and unique brand aesthetics. Businesses can create content 10 times faster and 80% cheaper. This enables them to run highly efficient ad campaigns and quickly adapt AI content for various formats at scale, including personalized videos. Now, everyone can be a part of your viral campaigns with tons of AI-generated content personalized for every single user. We are two-time founders, researchers, and engineers with deep expertise in AI, brand marketing, and computer graphics. Now, we have a fully built product, many customers, and we are growing. If you want to create hyper-realistic content like this, come talk to us.
Next up, we have Roma from Kings. The Kings team uses a lion mascot for their marketing campaigns when they go around schools, and Roma is that one person who always volunteers to be the mascot simply because he really enjoys showing kids that learning is fun. Please give a roaring applause for Roma from Kings.
Hi, I'm Roma, the co-founder of Kings Olympiads. And previously, I was a part of 500 Eurasia Batch 3. And after that program, we have reached more than $600,000 in ARR, and we tripled our user base to 300K. And as our business is more localized, we have achieved the profitability of all our 3 countries, and we entered Indian market. And as a reason why we started this business is because there are more than 200 million students who are participating in academic, physical, that means offline competitions. And there is the problem because it's too much logistically difficult and time-consuming. These events require physical spaces that limit the number of students who can and want to participate. So we gathered with a team who had an exit in the same space and who saw the very massive opportunity to digitize and scale these competitions globally. So enter King's online platform that streamlines the whole process from registration to personalized feedback. Now, the teachers can save their time, can earn additional income, and we are providing individual feedback to the students and parents. Our business model is simple, $13 per student per competition. And our LTV is 10 times higher than our CAC. So going after $10 billion market, we are starting with Lithuania, Bulgaria, Azerbaijan, and India. If you want to learn how we are helping the students to excel in their schools, come, talk to us.
The last of our alumni tonight was recently recognized by Forbes 30 Under 30 in Georgia for her contribution to technology. Marie first started out as a lawyer, but then quickly realized that smart contracts were better than traditional contracts, and because of that, went into the world of Web3. Please put your hands together for Marie, the co-founder of Arena Games.
Since joining 500 Global a year ago, we have 20x our growth, reaching more than 250,000 in verified users who have done over 2 million on-chain transactions. And not only that, our users have minted more than 1 million NFTs. So what is Arena Games? We transform traditional games into Web3, creating a blockchain gaming ecosystem that unites gamers and developers on a single platform. You see, game development studios are lack of blockchain expertise to build Web3 games. They need tons of resources like Solidity devs, tokenomics experts, Web3 marketers, and many more. This costs 10 times more than just developing the game itself, and takes at least 6 months of additional work. The barrier to entry is just too high. Arena Games enables game developers to integrate blockchain into their games with zero blockchain resources and distribute these games among our growing community of players. Now, game developers can instantly create and monetize Web3 games, introducing new earning models, gaming modes, NFT marketplace, and cross-game digital assets. And the opportunity is clear, as the blockchain gaming market is expected to hit $65 billion by 2027. I'm Marie, co-founder and CEO of Arena Games, and my team and I have turned our passion for blockchain and gaming into our first venture 5 years ago, introducing more than 20 games and series of successful blockchain projects to the market. If you're ready for the future of gaming, step into the arena.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you had a wonderful time with us this evening. You've just heard from a panel discussion with our guests from SeedStars, Sturgeon Capital, Flyer One Ventures, Kaelius Ventures, and Tech.eu. 8 of our brightest from batch 6 of the Accelerator program, and 3 of our alumni come back to share their growth journey alongside 500 Global, all of which came from sectors across MarTech, HR Tech, Web3, and more. I speak for all of us in the 500 Global team when I say that we are extremely proud of everything that our founders have accomplished and what they will accomplish. To my founders, we adore you and the work that you do. and will continue supporting you in your journey. Demo Day is not over yet. I invite you to join our founders at their booths to carry on discussions about their venture and also for you to tell them what a good job they did. We will also be serving more drinks and foods in the networking area. One more call out about our startup booth today as you head into the networking area. But first, a bit of context. Apart from tech, our team has an appreciation for art. Previously, we had local artists draw portraits of founders for their booths, but this time we have also something very meaningful. Catalyst AI from the graduating batch today has helped us design and animate the video logos you'll be seeing on all startup booths. It's always extra special when we can touch, feel, and see the products that our founders work so hard to build. Earlier, you also saw in Oh My Sins presentation that they've generated 500 branded images. They did this just for today's demo day, and the designs are now available for you to play around at their booths too. So please go ahead and get your image generated in a 500 global unicorn suit courtesy of Oh My Sint. As you can see, we're bringing more and more interactive elements and are super excited for you to get to know our companies. Don't forget that you can continuously stay in touch with our founders via accessing our Demo Day splash page by scanning this QR code on the screens and on your badges. I've been reminded by my team to ask you to please tag us at 500 Global in Eurasia, because I know you're going to want to take lots of photos soon, and we also want to enjoy reliving your experience with us this evening. Batch 6 is coming to a close, but the 500 team is already hard at work considering applications for Batch 7, as what Pedro has mentioned earlier, so please head over to our website to find out more on how you can apply. And now, to an overlooked but always important segment of every close-off program. Acknowledgement and shout out to the people who made all of this possible. To our partners, Bank of Georgia and Georgia's Innovation and Tech Agency, JITA. To our mentors, Justina, Brianna, Timur, Alex, and so many more who are supporting us wherever they are. Thank you for pouring in your heart and soul to push the startups beyond their limits to achieve great outcomes. To the co-founders and team members of our portfolio companies, your support behind the scenes may not always be in the spotlight, but undoubtedly contributes to the success of your startup. And to my 500 Global team, volunteers and vendors, you have made this event possible. And last but not least, to you, ladies and gentlemen, our team appreciates every single one of you for being here supporting the startups tonight. Thank you very much for being a rockstar audience, so one applause for yourselves. Before we conclude this part of the evening and move to networking, I would like to invite all of our founders, their teams, our panelists, partners, mentors, and 500 team to come join me on stage to take a group photo. Thank you, everyone, and it was a great honor to have you all here today. For now, grab a drink on us and see you at Batch 7.